Hello, I'm Claire Parsons and welcome to the Yoga Barn. Today's session is all about the hips, the pelvis and the sacrum. So please get comfortable on the mat and let's begin. So seated in a comfortable cross-legged position, and if you need to pop any blocks underneath the knees to allow them to relax, please do so now. Just want you to allow the body to relax and get comfortable into the mat here. Now if this isn't really comfortable for you cross-legged, you can bring the legs nice and wide, or you can bring them back into a hero's pose as well. Grounding down into the mat, please just close off your eyes or bring them down into a very soft gaze, whatever feels most comfortable and natural for you. I want you to allow your body to begin to settle on the mat and just take your time to bring all of your awareness internally, noticing how your body's feeling right now. Taking the time to let all those muscles relax, particularly around the hips, the pelvis, the sacrum, and into your seat that's resting on the surface beneath you. And just start to bring your awareness now into softening down through the shoulders and lengthening up through the spine, lifting up through the crown of the head and particularly around the neck area, creating as much space from the ears to the shoulders, and also creating some space from the pelvis into the lower rib cage as well. So lifting and lengthening if that's available to you today. And I want you to bring your awareness now into your breathing and just noticing how you're breathing today. Let's try and bring a little control of the breath now. So allow the breath to begin to become slower as you breathe in and out of the nose, and also nice and steady both on the inhalation and on the exhalation. And I want you to notice that when you're breathing in, you're breathing through the nose and you feel it through the back of the throat, down into the chest, and as you feel it in the chest will rise, and as you push the air down through the diaphragm into the abdomen will also rise like an inflated balloon. And then as you exhale the breath, you'll slowly feel everything falling away. And this is a rhythm that you want the body to experience when you're breathing nice and slowly and deeply. So inhaling as you expand the body and exhale as you gently release the body. And now we're just going to create some gentle movement here. So I want you to suck your belly button into the spine and then lift it up to the heart as you activate this core muscle, the psoas muscle. And then we're just going to slowly bring the hands in front of the legs and gently walking the fingers forward, keeping the belly drawn in, creating space in those hip flexors. Just gently moving forward, working over those hip flexors. And maybe either resting the elbows down, tucking the chin into the chest, or you can extend the arms in front, fingertips onto the floor, and just allow the body to relax down. Looking down your nose at your heart, a gentle stretch as we're stretching through the lower back. This is the area that also works with the hips, the pelvis and the sacrum, the lower back and the lower belly. So a nice gentle stretch here. Reaching the fingertips as far away as possible, but keeping those sit bones fully connected down into the mat. And then slowly let's start to inhale the breath as you release the hands all the way back to the legs. Lovely. Now I want you to open the legs up nice and wide, flexing the feet so the toes come up towards the ceiling. I want you to push down with the sit bones, resting the hands on top of the shins. Grow tall with the spine, drop the shoulders down away from the ears and lengthen up all the way through the crown of the head. Keep the belly button drawn in and take a deep breath in. Suck the air down through the body, and as you exhale, you're also going to bend once more, sliding the hands down the shins, maybe resting on the shins here. Keep the spine nice and straight, and you can always bring the index and the middle fingers through the big toe and toe next to it, wrapping around the big toe and connecting the thumb into the fingers. And then you're just going to create a little bend in those elbows to keep the softness through the shoulders, through the neck, and start to melt down. Keep looking forward to begin with. Chin is parallel to the floor, and then when you've found your stretch, you can then start to bring the chin down into the chest. Breathing here. Now it might be that there's plenty of space here from the hands and the feet, and so you may want to bring the hands behind the feet, the outside edge of the feet. Again, little bend in those elbows, takes tension from the neck and the shoulders, and just fold forward here. You'll feel a stretch through the legs as well as into the inner thighs as well. Deep breath in, lengthen the spine, and exhale the breath, slowly coming all the way out. Lovely. And now bring the soles of the feet together in a bound angle pose or butterfly pose. So I want you to bring the sit bones as close to the heels as they will possibly go. You can either slide the heels back to the seat, or you can just walk the sit bones close to the heels. Interlacing the fingers in front of you, placing them over your toes. And I want you to think about pressing the chest forward, rolling the shoulders back so the shoulders are not rounded and you have a nice long spine, a nice straight back here. And we're just going to start to butterfly the knees now as we release any tension through the hips and the hip flexors. Just allowing a little bit of movement now. It can be small, it could be bigger, whatever feels available for you today. Remember, this is your practice. I'm only here as your guide, so listen to your body. And then once you've allowed the knees to butterfly, then just settle those knees. Allow them to rest down. And I want you to close off your eyes once more, or bring them back into that soft gaze, and bring your awareness down into the hips and into the legs. And I want you to scan your body and notice where you're holding on to tension. It might be that you're holding it into your thighs. Maybe you're holding it in the pelvis. And I want you to let go and soften. And let's use the breath now. We're going to inhale the breath as we create length and space in the spine, in the torso. And as you exhale, it's all about softening, relaxing, and letting go through the legs. So again, inhale to lengthen, draw the crown of the head up towards the sky, and exhale the breath as you soften those legs, allowing them to melt down towards the mat. And now look down at your feet, and I want you to imagine your feet are like a book. Release your hands and just open your feet, so the outer edge of the feet are like the binding of a book, and the inner edge of the feet are like the pages of the book. This is going to help your knees come down even closer to the mat, and don't worry if they're really high. Everybody has different mobility, and remember, I do this all the time. So please just allow some softness once more and use your breath again, connecting the breath. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the spine, push the chest forward and the shoulder blades back, and exhale, soften those knees. Breathing in and out of the nose, and again, inhale and exhale. Lovely. This time, inhale the breath and suck your belly button back into the spine here, supporting the lower back. And then go to exhale the breath as you fold forward, creating space in the hip flexors as you suck that belly button in. So coming forward with the chest, keep the shoulders back, keep the head lifted initially, and then allow your chin to come all the way into the chest. Look down your nose at your heart, and maybe look down at your knees now and notice the difference in the knees to where they started, much higher up. The more that you focus on relaxing the body, the more it will naturally open up. And take a deep breath in, lift the head, lift the chest, and exhale the breath. Bring hands either side of the knees and close the knees into the chest. Hug the knees in, lengthen through the spine. Lovely. From here, you're going to roll forward on your mat now, so you can cross your ankles and just bring all the body weight forward as you roll forward and uncross your legs behind you. We're coming into our tabletop position. And I want you to come into a resting posture to begin with. We're going to go to Child's Pose Balasana, so bring the knees mat width apart, the big toes to touch, and just push those sit bones all the way back to the heels. Extending the arms in front of you and melting the elbows and the forehead all the way down into the mat. Now, if the sit bones don't reach the heels, bring a little bit of cushioning behind them to allow everything to rest down. So this is your resting posture, and you can come to this pose any time that you need to take a break. Remember, listen to your body. You're going to release the hands behind you now. Turn the palms to face up and just take a few nice, big, deep breaths in and out through the nose, staying aware of your body, how it's feeling, letting go of any tension. There's no tension allowed here in this resting posture of Balasana. So take a deep breath in and a full release out. Lovely. Bring the hands underneath your shoulders. Let's inhale the breath, lift the head, lift the chest and bring the shoulders over the top of the wrists now and the knees underneath the hips. We're going to come into a little bit of a cat-cow pose to start to move the spine. So I want you to take a deep breath in as you gaze forward. Push down with your hands, spread the fingers nice and wide and make sure the elbow creases are facing forward for a strong arm posture. And as you exhale the breath, tuck your tailbone underneath, dip your chin into your chest and arch your spine, pushing down into the mat and pulling the mat apart with the hands to activate the arms. And as you inhale the breath, dip the belly, lift the head, lift the tailbone and gaze up, opening up through the chest and the shoulders. And again, exhale as you round, arching through the spine, look down your nose at your heart, tuck the tailbone all the way under and keep pushing down with those hands. And inhaling, coming up into cow pose, lifting the head, lifting the chest, lifting the tailbone and dipping the belly. One more time. Exhale as you round into cat pose, arching, feeling the wonderful stretch of the shoulder blades all the way down the spine, and inhale, coming up into cow. Breathing here. And then come all the way back to center. We're going to come into puppy dog pose now. So I want you to bring your hands to the very top corners of your mat. Keep the bottom nice and high and keep your knees underneath your hips. Gazing forward so the chin is parallel with the floor. Let's inhale the breath now. And as you exhale the breath, I want you to melt your heart down, melt your chest down in towards the mat. Keep looking forward. Push the bottom nice and high. You're going to feel that lovely stretch through the arms. The elbows stay off the mat and you're going to melt down until the chin comes either onto the mat to rest, or you can bring your chin onto a block or a cushion. Breathing here, take a deep breath in, spreading those fingers really wide and a full release out. You can take several breaths here if you wish. Let's start to inhale the breath now as we lift the head, lift the chest and bring the hands back underneath the shoulders, breathing naturally. Lovely. Okay, from here we're going to stretch out through the legs. So I'd like you to extend your right leg behind you, pushing the heel back, pressing into the toes. Keep the arms nice and strong and straight, elbow creases stay forward and the gaze is forward. Draw your belly button in towards the spine and lift the rib cage away from the mat here. Let's be active in the core now. And we're going to inhale the breath as you push the heel back on the right foot and lift the knee of the left foot and look down at your left knee. Hold and breathe here, feeling that lovely stretch in the back of the right calf. Inhale the breath. And exhale the breath. Keep pushing into the fingertips here. Lovely. One more time. Inhale. Look down your nose at your heart. Exhale. Push into that right hip. And then slowly inhale the breath and lift the right heel off the mat and bring the shoulders back over the wrists and rest the left knee all the way back down. We're going to do the same on the other side. So bring the right knee down, back in our tabletop position. Let's inhale the breath as we extend the left leg behind, curling the toes of the left foot and pushing the left heel away. And exhale the breath. Inhale the breath now as you lift the right knee off the mat. Bring the nose towards the right knee and really press into the fingertips to take away from the wrists. Breathing here. Feeling the stretch in the left leg, back of the calf, into the hamstring of the left side. Inhale the breath. And then exhale the breath as you come up onto the toes of the left foot. Bring the shoulders over the wrists and drop the right knee, followed by the left knee down into the mat. And if you want to come back into child's pose for a rest, you're very welcome to do so. From here, we're going to come into our downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So I want you to bring the knees just a little bit further back away from the hips. The fingers spread nice and wide, elbow creases forward and the shoulders are directly over the top of the wrists and the gaze is forward. Keep the rib cage away from the mat. Let's curl those toes and inhale the breath, hover the knees off the mat. And exhale the breath, push the hips back and up. Bring the chin down into the chest, look down your nose at your heart and try to bring the heels as close to the mat as possible. It might be that you need to step your feet a little bit closer to the hands to get those heels down. And you may need to put some cushioning underneath them and it's absolutely fine. Only work with what's good for you. Looking down at your nose at your heart now, pressing away, push those hips as far back as possible and try to melt the chest into the mat, just like in puppy dog pose. We're going to work the hips now and open up through the hips. So stepping the left foot into the mat, inhale the breath, raise the right leg up with a nice straight leg, pointing the toes as high as it will go. And then bending the right knee, you're going to bring the right hip on top of the left hip. The right knee comes higher up towards the ceiling and now look underneath your right armpit. Keep pressing into your hands evenly. Inhale the breath and exhale the breath. Come back to center and step down. Let's do the same on the left side. So let's inhale, press the right foot into the mat, raise the left leg in a nice three-legged dog, push away from the hands. Exhale the breath, bend the left knee, bring the left hip over the top of the right, lifting up that left knee, stretching through the hip and gazing under the left armpit. Take a deep breath in and a full release out. Lovely. And come all the way back to center and step the left foot down. Okay, from here we're just going to start to inhale the breath, lift up onto the toes, arch the spine, bring the shoulders all the way over the top of the wrists and gaze forward. Let's come to a Chaturanga Dandasana now. So we're going to bend those elbows, dip halfway down, uncurl the toes, push through the hands and lift the head, lift the chest, dip the hips down in upward facing dog. And then exhale the breath as we push the hips back and up, uncurl the toes and bring the chin back into the chest in downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Hold and breathe or come back into your tabletop position and down into Child's Pose Balasana for a nice little rest. You decide where you want to go from here. So now we're going to start to create a little bit of strength in the core and movement through the hips. So we're going to inhale the breath as we raise the right leg in the air in the three-legged dog. And exhale the breath, look between your hands, bring the shoulders over the wrists and bring the right knee into the right elbow. Inhale again, raising the right leg in three-legged dog. And exhale the breath, bend the knee and bring it into the right elbow as the shoulders come over the wrist. Nice and strong, activate the core. Inhale the breath, raise the right leg in the air. And exhale the breath, you're going to bring the right knee to the left elbow and step the right foot to the left side of the left hand. Flatten your back foot and bring all the weight into the right hand, right shoulder over the right wrist and raise your left arm up to the sky, gaze up to your left thumb, breathe here. And slowly float the left hand down, bring the right knee back to the right elbow and let's step all the way back in downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and a full breath out. Let's start to inhale, come onto the toes, bring the shoulders over the wrists and dip down for Chaturanga, or you can drop the knees below the hips. Drop the chest and chin down and inhale, slide forward and up into a baby cobra. Gazing up, no weight in the hands. Exhale the breath, curl the toes, push the hips back and up and come back to downward facing dog. Hold and breathe here. Lovely. And now we're going to do the same on the left side. So press the right foot into the mat. Inhale, raise the left leg in the air, three-legged dog. And then exhale the breath, look between the hands, shoulders over wrists, left knee to left elbow. Inhale, raise, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee, left elbow, gaze forward. Inhale, three-legged dog. This time we're going to bring the left knee to the right elbow and then step the left foot to the right side of the right hand. Bring all the weight on the left hand, shoulders over the wrist, flatten your right foot And inhale, reach the right arm up and gaze up at your right thumb. Exhale the breath, float the right hand down. Bring the left knee to the left elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog, and exhale, float the feet all the way down. Take a deep breath here. In downward facing dog, just allow the body to settle, chin into the chest. Realign yourself here. And then we're going to inhale the breath, look between the hands, connect the brain and the body. And then exhale the breath, bring the shoulders over the wrist. You're going to jump the feet to the outside of your hands. And come into a nice yogi squat. So the elbows are on the inside of the knees, the feet are nice and flat, and the bottom comes down. Now if this is not available to you, you can practice squatting down, building up cushions underneath you until you feel comfortable, and even extending the elbows out to the side and then bring them in to get the legs moving in this yogi squat. This really helps open up through the hips and through the pelvis. Let's just take a deep breath in here, squeezing those palms, and a full release out. Lovely. Bring the hands onto the mat, straightening through the legs. Let's bring the left hand into the center of the mat here, bending the left knee nice and deeply, and inhale, reaching the right arm up to the sky. Exhale the breath, drop the shoulder. Inhale to reach, and exhale, release. Bring the right hand into the center of the mat, bending the right knee nice and generously. Let's inhale to reach. Left arm up, left palm facing the front of the mat, and exhale to soften. And again, deep inhale. And deep exhale. Lovely. Straightening both legs now. We're just going to press the hands down into the mat, and I want you to jump your feet back, if available, back into a plank pose. And from plank, we're going to do our final little Chaturanga Dandasana and come all the way down. Allow the head to relax. Widen the legs, release the arms. Just let go of the body, taking your time, slowing your breath down, and melting down into your mat. Take a deep breath in, and a full, slow release out. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Let's inhale, lift the head, lift the chest, and finish off in Child's Pose Balasana. Resting the head down, melting the torso through the thighs, big toes touching, and the knees mat width apart. And you can relax here. You can take your time. You can do that sequence all over again if you feel strong. Or you can just carry on with the rest of your day knowing you spent a good 25 minutes strengthening, working through the hips, the pelvis, the sacrum, opening this wonderful area up as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this session today. If you like what you've done and you want to follow me some more, please subscribe, follow me on Instagram at Inspire Health and Wellbeing, and I look forward to seeing you again. Namaste.